Hey everyone, it's Simone. I'm here with Bella for another soul communication. Today we're also going to talk to the four, and these soul conversations are sponsored by the 64 Doors, Unlock Your Design, and the Living Matrix. Bella, how can people participate?
So if you have Jinky 4 or Gate 4, or are just interested about the force hexagram, you can absolutely type or your questions or join or share them. And really, this is about tuning in a very right brain way, actually. Just see what the transmission wants to tell us. So if you have questions, that's really helping to open up. And this is special. I mean, Simone, we have been doing this for a lot of the archetypes, and you are just tuning into the soul archetype. So I'm just gonna open up for you and let you do it, because that's where the magic comes in.
Let's do it. All right, so I'd like to communicate with the archetype of the soul of the four. Will you communicate with me, with us? Well, the first thing I see is like metal, and it felt like a rocket. Imagine that the spaceship is taking off, and we're right on the side of it, and yet we can kind of see it moving, the metal moving. The force says there are no mistakes. There's your trajectory is not wrong. Open up. And then it's like as the rocket is moving, the door is opening, which feels almost, like scary. How we are opening the hatch while we're in transition. And the force says that that's the best way to traverse, is to look to see where you're going, not to blindly shoot the rocket off without being aware of where you're going. And that it's talking about like take solace. There is no solace in not knowing where you're going. And the force says that it shows me like the rocket going this way, and then the rocket doing kind of a loop-de-loop and not doing the expected trajectory, kind of going off and doing, kind of craziness, a crazy pathway. And it's like, it doesn't matter what the trajectory is. What's important is that you understand that your consciousness is the engine for your trajectory, and that you're guiding the ship, and really understanding that all that you are, all your choices, all of your unchoices or not choices, are the fuel, are the things guiding the path that the trajectory through your physical embodiment. And really a comprehensive understanding of that is essential. That you don't just leap out of the rocket. The rocket is going. Your trajectory is going. If you want to change it, change your choices, change your mind, understand, have compassion for yourself, and know that The rocket can be going straight, and then you can make it loop de loop, and then you can make it straight again. That it doesn't really matter where the rocket goes. The importance is that you're the rocket. It's the understanding that you are the fuel, you are the engine, you are what makes the rocket go. And you can you can change your mind, you can change your direction, you can there there's no the world, society makes you think there's a right way for your rocket to go. Is saying that's just conditioning. The truth in your heart is where you want to be, because then you really stop worrying about, well, is my rocket going straight or is my rocket going on some loop-de-loop. It's like when you could just be there in your rocket looking inside of yourself, and that would guide the rocket ship. You don't need to look at and see, oh, it's going straight, oh, it's going loop-de-loop. He keeps talking about compassion for the self, because you're moving from your heart at the rate that you can, at the vibration that you can, and that you're able to access and continually moving toward going within and finding the purity of wherever you are in that moment. That's going to adjust the rocket, and it's all okay. And as the four was talking about going in, I really felt the waters, the deep waters of the 29 that we just recently recorded. I was like right there with me. This deep going within.
I'm hearing the 7 because that's kind of the direction,
Yeah.
right? And a rocket, what's that for? That's really a direction. So it feels like, again, we have this coloring of union that are telling us different aspects. And then I was feeling into the understanding, because it's almost like the metaphor of the rocket ship. It's like the understanding that we are needing in order to be able to kind of function in a new way together, which is the ring of union.
Right. I see that Deidre asks a question is making a statement about intolerance. And when I saw the word intolerance, that kind of registered with the 4. And the intolerance is the intolerance is a lot of things, the 4 says. It can be intolerance for where the rocket is going. Like, I don't want to go this way. Intolerance for the wisdom within your soul, and intolerance for your choices or other people's choices. And the intolerance abounds. The opportunity for intolerance is abounding. But the intolerance that the 4 wants to talk about is the intolerance for your own trajectory. And the intolerance of the self. And it feels like when the 4 uses the word intolerance, what I see is like a disconnection between the physical and the soul, the spirit. It's like a disconnection. So they're not tolerating, the soul and the cells are not tolerating each other. So within yourself, there's not this union. And when you don't have that union, the rocket wants to go in 2 ways. It wants to split. And that's the intolerance that it's talking about, is not tolerating, within yourself. And then when you have that, when you imagine that your cells and your consciousness, by their very nature, want to be in sacred union, but so they're not. So you have this friction within you, and then that starts to be a reflection of your external world. So because you're intolerant within yourself, then you have intolerance outside of yourself. And Deidre asks, my question is there a healthy and needed form of intolerance? And it's the force says not from yourself, not within yourself, not your physical and spirit and soul not tolerating themselves. So that is a perfect union. And when there is no corruption, your soul and your body, your spirit, they want to be in union. They don't want to naturally be intolerant of each other. But the force says you may experience intolerance outside of yourself, and know that that is a reflection of the intolerance of inside of yourself. You may be asking me, is it appropriate to take a stand? Which is a different question. So that's really more about choice. But in terms of intolerance, I would ask you, it says, how can you find more union between your body, your soul, your spirit, and find the harmony within to fuel your trajectory, if you will?
And I mean, I will go there and ask, what is true forgiveness?
What is what?
Forgiveness.
Mm. Well, the force showed me is that perfect union between spirit and physical form. Because when that union exists, it's like everything else is forgotten. So it's almost like the purest form of forgiveness when you don't even need forgiveness anymore. It's just an, a vibration that spontaneously exists. But there's like, it's a consciousness that you don't even really need to verbalize. It just is there. And when the force shows me that, there's this feeling of intense peace. It's just like peace. Everything's in union. So there's this peace.
Because that can be another question, kind of similar to what Deidre was saying. You know, is there a place where forgiveness is not the solution? Could be the question. It's like, is there a place that is good for intolerance? Not really. Is there a place that forgiveness isn't the right thing?
Well, no, that's like saying, is there a place, the force says, that's like saying, is there a place where it's not the highest vibration for your body to be in alignment with your soul and your spirit?
Yeah, I know that there might be, and I've been speaking with clients like quite recently about this, about having the feeling that forgiveness is the to go-to mode. So it comes too fast. Like forgiveness is often a process. So it's actually a work that we do in order to, like it's a process. And when we just have kind of a 4-6 thing could be that we can go too fast to just like, oh, I forgive, but there might be a part of like the emotional body or the physical body or that needs the process in order to really actually, so that there is more, it's probably more like a misunderstanding of what forgiveness is. And from that came my question, what is true forgiveness? What's part of you are part of forgiveness, what's required for us to call it true forgiveness. Because it's easy to say, I forgive you, because I don't want to be angry with you, I'll just forgive you. But does that mean that the heart is open, that the heart is trusting? Like, that's part of what I want to, like, what I'm curious about.
Well, in part, the four was as you were talking, the four was showing me the difference between, say, an apology and receiving an apology. And true forgiveness is wholeness within self. Okay, so in a sense, the act of saying, forgive me, I'm sorry, is an act of returning to wholeness of self. And so it's almost like the process and the end result. It also reminds me of sometimes when I've heard Richard talk about how the gift, from the gift to the city, there's a whole, it's like not a straight path. It's just like you go from the gift and then suddenly you're in this other state in the citic form. And that's what the four is showing me. It's not like a pathway. When you get to true forgiveness, you've gotten to wholeness in self. You might need to say, I'm sorry, or to the other person, I receive you. Mm-hmm. You know, I receive you. If so, you know, but when you're waiting for someone to say, I'm sorry, what really energetically, geometrically, what's going on is you're not whole within yourself. Because if you were whole in yourself, you wouldn't even perceive the need for an apology. Mm-hmm. Because you would understand that, oh, that person is not whole within themselves. And so they're moving from this place of corruption, lack, wanting, if you will. And so the compassion that you would feel for them would not necessitate an I'm sorry if you're whole within yourself. So he's saying we're talking about two different things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, and I just got a couple of other questions here. And it's asking about understanding as a prerequisite for forgiveness. Sometimes we feel we need to understand. And, you know, you and I have been speaking about this week too, Simone, where I'm like, when I have the truth, before I have the truth, before I understand, it's kind of the same thing. Before I have the truth, it's really hard to be able to do anything, because it's like I need it on the table in order to know what I'm forgiving, in order to know. So could you speak to understanding as the prerequisites for forgiveness?
Well, the Four says he would say it's more of compassion. Compassion creates a softness, both for yourself and other. And in that softness is the opportunity, the potentiality for truth aligning with the truth within you and the truth within others. And that, you know, goes back to, you know, when you are aligned with when your body and your soul, your spirit are aligned in union, that's what truth is. That's the space of truth. So, the Four is saying, and understanding comes with compassion for self and other.
Yeah, I feel like the Four is speaking a lot about, you know, the alignment in ourselves and the truth in ourselves. And as human beings, especially kind of now going into the Venus where we are preparing, I feel like the questions that we get from the circle and, you know, have a lot to do with this thing in relationship. And I have another comment here. Sometimes the drive for answers leaves little room for peace because after you find an answer, another problem to solve appears. And then the question is, how can you find peace when you don't have understanding? So it's similar to what we're speaking about.
Well, the understanding and the peace comes from the union within you. So if you're focused on that, when you have the union of your soul, the magnificence of your soul and your spirit, the truth, and that aligns with your body, it creates the vibration that the force said everything works out. It's like, like when you have that, that's what you see, that's what your experience is. So yeah.
And this even in relationship, because that's where I feel like kind of the questions are today. It's like Dieter was saying, my boundaries. Sometimes I feel like when I don't have intolerance, I override my boundaries. Or when we don't understand the other and we don't know if we can trust the other and we don't know the truth, how can we have peace? Because it's almost like I was saying in my case, when I don't have the truth, even if I want to be in alignment, but if I don't know the truth, it's difficult to relate. I guess that's how do you relate in peace when you don't have that in front of you?
Well, but the force says if you had that truth within you, there wouldn't even be a choice. It would everything would be so clear. So the force like go within and find the truth within. And the force is saying to you, Bella, that you got to truth when you got to the truth inside of you. Yeah. The truth externally is a reflection of where you are internally. So, and the four is showing that when you're in alignment, what you choose is different from when you're not aligned.
That's the key. Like what you're saying right now, that is the key. Like that's where reality shifts. But reality doesn't reality actually shifts with how you walk the world when you're in alignment. Who walks by your side when you're in alignment? Who falls off your path when you're in alignment?
Exactly. And it all just kind of vibrates, in or out based on where you are within that union of truth within yourself. And it's it's an easier, the force shows it's an easier trajectory. Like if you wake up and you find the truth within you and then you proceed on your day, of course it's going to be a different trajectory. But let's say you're in the middle of your day and you realize, oh, I'm not aligned within myself. And you really start to just focus on that. Forget the rest. Just, okay, how do I realign within myself? What's the highest vibration of union within my soul, my spirit, my body, my cells, of alignment with the truth within me? If you can find that place, then the other things will start to work out. The solutions will arise. The dissonance outside of you will dissipate and disappear based on how you align with yourself in the truth.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other questions. Deidre says, just say, this is my life purpose in all ways. This all resonates profoundly. Thank you, Deidre.
Thank you so much for that awesome comment. Thank you so much. So I'm just asking if the four has anything else it would like to say. No, the four says it was a profound experience to share this with you today. And the four just, the four's intention is that this transmission resonates with people. And as they listen to it, they are able to find that union in themselves between their souls, their spirit, their physical form. That is the most, perfect gift for all. So I'm just saying thank you to the four for that profound message. We so appreciate it.
And thank you, Simone, as well.
You bet. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.